So if you have any interruption, you can convey me immediately. Okay. So we all know that statistics is subject in which we deal with the data. In fact, we collect data, we present data in some graphical form. That data is to be analyzed. Then an interpretation will have to be given to the specific data which has been collected and analyzed in a specific way. Now, I'm going to talk about the analysis aspect, and the subject is analysis of variance, which is one of the most utilized, statistical aspect. And next slide. Okay. See, what is analysis of variance? It is a parametric test. Let us understand what does this parametric test mean. See, the test could be of two types, parametric and non-parametric. All those statistical analysis in which mean value, that is arithmetic mean, median or mode, or standard deviation, standard error, variance, if these values are required, that is values of central tendency and values of dispersion, if these values are required, then that test becomes parametric test. So ANOVA, t-test, z-test, f-test, these are actually parametric tests. And see, chi-square test or Mann-Whitney test or Kruskal-Wallis test, these are non-parametric tests, because in case of non-parametric test, the mean values or other parameters of descriptive statistics are not required at all. So this ANOVA is a parametric test. In this case, we need actually mean value. We sometimes in calculation we need standard error or standard deviation values also. So that is why it is a parametric test. And we apply this test when there is more than 2 samples. When we have collected samples from the population and those samples are more than 2, then we want to see whether these samples have come from the same population, or they are same in nature, or they are significantly different from each other. And for that purpose, we apply analysis of variance. This could be one way or two way. ANOVA could be of two types. When we try to study a single parameter and difference among those samples, considering a single parameter, then that becomes one way ANOVA. And when more than 2 different kinds of phenomena are there, happenings are there, or subjects are there, in such case we apply 2, then that becomes one way ANOVA. Different kinds of phenomena are there or have there. In such case, we apply two-way ANOVA. So this I'm going to explain this aspect by taking certain examples. Suppose we have collected data from 3 separate areas, and this data is in the form of sample 1, sample 2, and sample 3. In sample 1, we have variables or values like x1, x2, x3, x4, x5. These are the variables. These are the values which have been collected. You can say 5 individuals have been observed, or 5 different types of experimental results are there. So in such case, its total will be taken, and number of cases observed in sample 1 are 5. So n is equal to 5, and then samples total could be there. Then there is another sample, that is x2. Here also you have values like x6, x7, x8, x9. Total number of cases considered here are 4. Then its total you can obtain, and average value can also be calculated. Likewise, in sample 3, there are again 5 cases. So we have to actually arrange the data in this manner in the form of columns, and their number of cases and total will have to be known. Then we actually need this capital N is there. Capital N is the total number of individuals considered. Total number of individuals considered here in this particular case is being shown as 14, because sample 1 contains 5 individuals or 5 cases or 5 variables. Sample 2 contains 4 variables. Sample 3 contains 5 variables. So this way total becomes 14. In case of ANOVA analysis, in ANOVA case, we need actually grand total also. So the grand total means total of all these 14 variables. That is referred as grand total. Then let us see what are the steps which we employ if we are manually doing it. I will show how to do certain cases with the help of Excel program, but I want to make you acquainted how manually we can do it, because it is quite simple to follow it manually. First of all, we actually calculate the correction term. So finding correction term is the first step. In correction term, what we do is GT square. GT is square divided by N. GT is what? It is grand total. I just told you that the total of all the variables, that total will be squared, and the product will be divided by total number of individuals. So GT squared divided by N. Then in the second step, we need SST value. SST stands for sum of squares of total values. So total sum of square is called as SST. Now this SST can be obtained by making a square of every individual value will be squared, their total will be obtained, and from that total the correction term value will be deducted, or it will be subtracted. So this is SST. And then SSB. SSB stands for sum of square between the samples. Okay, sum of square between the samples is SSB. Now this SSB can be obtained. Again, I'm back to tell how this SSB will be obtained. In case of SSB, see the total value of every total means total of sample 1. This will be squared. This value will be squared, and it will be divided by N5. N5 means number of variables present in this particular sample. Then it will be added with the next one, that is the sample 2 total, its square divided by total number of cases, that is N4. So that way SSB will be calculated. Here sum of each group is squared and divided by its N value, and total is obtained. This, from this total, the correction term value will be deducted, or that will be subtracted. Then we can calculate the third step, and that is SW. SSW, that is sum of square within the samples. This will be calculated by SST minus SSB. Okay, so whatever SST value is available, from that SSB will be subtracted. Now only these 4 steps are important. After that, rest of the things you can do this table. See what is shown here. This is the main table we obtained, and please go through this table very carefully, because it will give you information about everything. SS, that is sum of square, and here in source of variation between is written. So this is SSB. SSB means sum of square between the samples. I just told you that this can be obtained by doing square of every individual sample total, and then that value will be divided by its n. Likewise, every sample's total and division of n will be totaled, and from that the correction term value will be subtracted. Then within it is SSB minus SSB, and total is actually total of SSB as well as SSW. Now, degree of freedom, let us see how this will be calculated. This degree of freedom is C minus 1, that is column minus 1 for SSB. Column minus 1, if the columns are there, then this C minus 1, that will be the degree of freedom for SSB. The degree of freedom for within will be minus C, that is total number of cases minus number of columns. So that way you get the degree of freedom for this and degree of freedom for total will be minus 1. Then mean of square that can be
excuse me sir, wise थोड़ी सी सर clear कम आ रही है
by its degree of freedom.
Excuse me sir,
actually
wise सर बहुत clear नहीं आ रही है, दिख जा रही है जी सर. Slides तो बहुत बढ़िया दिख रही हैं सर, slides बहुत बढ़िया आ रही हैं. हाँ बहुत बढ़िया दिख रही हैं सर, आवाज लेकिन सर बीच बीच में ऐसे
हमारे यहाँ से प्रेजेंटेशन का भी नहीं है. एक मिनट, स्लाइड ठीक है तो बायस बहुत क्लियर नहीं है.
नहीं सर आ भी रही है, बीच बीच में गड़बड़ हो रही है, बाकी आ रही है सर, आवाज आ रही है सर, बीच बीच में ब्रेक हो जा रही है बस.
हाँ वो इंटरनेट का एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम यहाँ पे है थोड़ा,
कुछ बैंडविड्थ की दिक्कत है सर. ठीक है सर कंटिन्यू करिए.
प्रॉब्लम. अच्छा स्क्रीन क्लियर दिख रहा है?
हाँ स्क्रीन बहुत क्लियर.
स्क्रीन पे जो कॉर्नर पे आता है ये मतलब बोलते हुए दिखता है, वो भी दिख रहा है यहाँ पे. एनीवे अच्छा अगर बीच में कोई ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम आती है तो बताइएगा, फिर हम इसको चाहे तो रिपीट करेंगे क्योंकि बड़ा यूजफुल है ये, बच्चों के लिए काम आएगा. तो देखिए देन see MSW means mean of square within the samples. This can be obtained by dividing SSW by its degree of freedom. Now since we have MSB as well as MSW values, so dividing an MSB by MSW one can get the EF value. This EF value will be used for further analysis because we need finally this EF value. E stands for probability level, whether the probability is less than 5% or more than 5%. If it is more than 5%, we will accept the hypothesis, and hypothesis will be whether these samples are similar in nature or they are definitely different from each other, particularly their arithmetic mean. Then EF critical, that is stable value. EF critical stable value, I will tell you how this stable value will be obtained. See the next slide. Let us see the EF table. This one is EF table, and at 5% level, the values are given. For example, if 3 samples are there, then the degree of freedom will be 2. And since 14 total individuals are there, so 14 minus number of columns, so 3 columns are there, so it will be 11. So 2 and 11 degree of freedom means these 2 degree of freedom will be used for the purpose. And at 2 and 11 degree of freedom, the value is 3.98. See here on the upper side, degree of freedom value are there 1, 2, 3, 4. These are degree of freedom numerator. And on the left side, if you go vertically, again nu is there. So these are degree of freedom values. So at 11, here it here at 11 and 2, what we find the value is 3.98. It means 3.98 will be the table value. You have table value at 5% level. Okay. So with the help of this table, we can see that what is table value at a specific degree of freedom. Now you can see there is a question. Not answering, it is visible now.
It is visible, sir. We can see, sir. Slide we can see, sir.
Okay,
but
now
voice is not so clear.
Only problem is the voice.
Why, sir? Sometimes, sir, voice is very clear. When you bend your head, sir, bend your head, then it becomes more clear.
Okay. Okay, because let me use one device if it improves. Then okay. So see this particular page. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Now some improvement is there. Hello.
Yes, sir. आवाज आ रही है, sir.
So okay. So this is a question now. I hope that we can solve this question by manually, and I will be taking up through computer program. The following table shows the size of particular fish species collected from 3 different ponds. By applying appropriate statistical tests, find out that the average size of fishes of these ponds do not differ significantly. So there are 3 different ponds: pond 1, pond 2, and pond 3. There is some improvement in the West because I'm using. Hello.
Yes, sir. There is some improvement, sir.
Okay. So 3 ponds are there, and from these 3 ponds, suppose a particular species of fish which is quite small in size, that is being collected, and 5 fishes were collected from pond 1, 4 from pond 2, and again 5 from pond 3. Number could be same. You see, from all the 3 ponds, one may collect same number of fishes, so variation may be there. Now, what we have to know whether the mean size of the fishes collected from these 3 ponds are same or they are significantly different from each other. That is our main aim to test. So HO, that stands for null hypothesis. Null hypothesis means we hypothesize that there is no variation. So there is no variation, suppose, or no difference in the mean size of the fishes collected from 3 ponds. This will be our null hypothesis. Then our alternate hypothesis will be that there is difference. There is difference in their size. So now let us see how we shall be doing it manually. As I told you that first of all we will calculate correction term. This correction term will be equal to Grant divided by total number of individuals considered. So when we take the total of all these 14 individuals, because in this particular case n is equal to 14, and the grand total that comes 66. So 66 into 66 divided by 14, and then the value comes 311.4. For SST, what we are doing, that every value is being squared. That is 4, its square will be 16. Then second value is 3. So this 3 is being squared and its value is 9. Again 16. So we are actually making a square of every value. That is 4 square, 3 square, 4 square, 3 square, 5 square. Every value is being squared. Here 5 square, 5 square. And when all these values are being squared, and then minus correction term, that correction term value is 311.4. So the SST value then comes 34.86. So 34.86 is the SST value. That is sum of square of the total. Then next step is SSB. I told you that for SSB, the total of each column will be squared, and then it will be divided by the number of cases plus next sample, its total number of cases divided by means total, it is squared divided by number of cases. So when we are doing this and finally minus correction term, we are getting 12.86. And in fourth step, we will be getting SSW, that is 34.86 is the total SST minus SSB, and getting here the SSW value. Now these values will have to be put in the ANOVA table. So if you see ANOVA table, here again SS is written, SS stands for sum of square, and between that value is 12.86. We have just calculated here. So now this value comes here 12.86. Then SSW value 22 will be there. Then its total value is written here. After that, we have to find out degree of freedom, that is column minus 1. So that is, there are 3 columns minus 1, that becomes 2. Then degree of freedom for, for this SSW is 11, because total 3 means total 14 cases are there and 3 columns are there. So 14 minus 3, that will be 11. Again, the total degree of freedom will be 13, because n minus 1 will be the degree of freedom for total. MS value 6.4. We are getting by dividing 12.8 by 2. So we are getting 6.4. Then 22 is divided by 11, it gives 2. So MS values will be obtained that way. And F value will be obtained by dividing the SSB, that is 6.4, by SSW by 2. So if 6.43 gets divided by 2, it will give 3.21. And the table value is 3.98. I just told you that at 2 and 11 degree of freedom, the total, the table value will be 3.98. So what we are observing, that this F critical or table value 3.98 is more than the calculated value. And if it is more than calculated value, then we will accept the hypothesis. At this point, one should be very much careful that whether the calculated value is less than the table value or it is more than the table value. If the calculated value is less than the table value, then one will accept the null hypothesis. And if it is more than the table value, then one will reject the hypothesis. So here in this case, what we observe, that the probability is more than 5%. So we accept the hypothesis. And we can say that there is insignificant difference in the mean fishes collected from the treated ponds. And if the same values you will be putting on some statistical programming, means with the help of a computer or a statistical tool, what you will observe, these two, particularly lower one table, will be appearing. It is exactly the same table which I showed you, that was done manually. Exactly the same figure, S1, S2, S3 are actually pond 1, pond 2, pond 3. So exactly same values I have put here, and you can see that in the 3 columns are there, their counts are given. Sum of the first column was 20, second 16, third 30. Their averages are 4, 4 and 6. And we observe that there is insignificant difference between 4 and 6. So this is our final conclusion, that the fishes which have been collected from these 3 ponds, they are not differing in their average mean size. Okay, so okay, Dr. Aryan Singh.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
यस सर, आवाज आ रही है सर?
हाँ आवाज आ रही है तो ठीक है ना, ये समझ मतलब आवाज आ रही है, साफ समझा?
हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल सर, आवाज आ रही है, पहले से बेटर है सर, बीच बीच में अभी भी सर ब्रेक कर रही है।
अच्छा तो
लेकिन समझ में आ रहा है सर, इतनी आ रही है हम लोग समझ जा रहे हैं, फॉलो कर सकते हैं सर।
फॉलो कर सकते हैं ना, मतलब
हाँ
ऐसा
हाँ,
नहीं कि ये
इतनी आ
बिल्कुल।
रही है सर, बिल्कुल हाँ,
ओके ओके
समझ में आ रहा है सर।
तो ओके so now exactly the same way I have taken another example here. Means I have manually done it, all those things which I just explained. Exactly the same thing is there, but only thing is that there is a control group and then there are three, treatment groups are there. Their values are given here. And I have collected correction term, then SST, SSB, SSW values have been collected. And then finally this ANOVA table has been constructed based on SSB, SST, SSW values, their degrees of freedom are given. Now what I am showing it that in this particular case, we are observing that there is significant difference among the mean values. So remember, if there is significant difference among the mean values, then we can go for post hoc analysis, post hoc test. And in case of post hoc test, actually, we will be able to know that which of the two pairs show significant difference. Like in case of control, the mean value is 2. In case of treatment 1, mean value is 4. So we are not knowing that which of the two mean values are different from each other. So whether there is significant difference between 2 and 4, or between 2 and 4 and 4, there is significant difference between 4 and 4. But we have to know whether 2 and 4 are significantly different, because the probability is less than 5%. It means significant difference exists among the mean values. For that, we go for post hoc analysis, which is also referred as multiple comparison test. Through this test, we shall be able to know that which of the two pairs are significantly different from each other. So this test helps us to know whether there is significant difference among the mean values of the samples. It is performed to observe that which group pairs are showing significant difference. And we can also, we have to know that exactly how many comparisons will be possible. That we can know by calculating it with the formula C into C minus 1 by 2. For example, in this case, there are 4 columns. So 4 into 3 by 2, that is 6. It means total 6 comparisons will be possible. So if you have, suppose 3 columns, so it means 3 into 2 by 2, that will be 3. It means 3 comparisons will be possible. In this particular case, which I showed you just now, 4 columns are there. So 6 total comparisons will be possible. Now see here, we can do it manually as well as through computer program, and the manual calculation is quite simple. What I have shown here, that we have to calculate critical difference, that is referred as CD, and this critical difference is equal to square root 2 into MSW value, whatever MSW value is available to us, that will be divided by number of columns, and then that value will be multiplied with the table value that of t test. T stands for t table value, which is given at 5% level. But the question is, what would be the degree of freedom? Degree of freedom will be the degree of freedom of MSW or SSW. Whatever degree of freedom of SSW is there, that will be used to know the degree of freedom, and at that degree of freedom at 5% level, the t-table value will be taken. So in the next case, you can see how this is being done. See, this is t-table, and from this table we shall be able to get the specific value at 5% level. If degree of freedom is 10, then at 5% level that value is 2.228. So this 2.228 value will be taken. I will show. Now here in the lower half you can see I have shown how this post hoc or multiple comparison test will be done. Since in this particular case 4 columns are there, so 4 into 3 by 2, that is 6 comparison will be there. Then I have written the formula that is used to have the critical difference. Now here I have calculated the critical difference. This critical difference has come 1.675. So in this case, what we will be doing, we will first see the difference between the two columns, their mean values. Like, hello, hello.
आवाज बहुत बढ़िया आ रही है सर. इट इज फार बेटर नाउ सर.
Okay,
बहुत अच्छी आ रही है
okay.
सर. इसमें आवाज बहुत क्लियर है सर.
Okay, so I'm continuing now. What we are observing here, that between first and second column, the mean values were actually 2 and 4. So when we get the difference of 2 and 4, it is coming 2. But the critical difference is 1.675. So our calculated value is less than the difference of the two mean. So what we say, that yes, there is difference. If the real difference between two column is more than the critical difference, then we consider significant difference. So between column 1 and column 2, there is difference of 2, and that is why it is showing significant difference. You know, the mean value of column 1 is 2, whereas column 3 is also is 4. So difference is up to, so there is significant difference. The mean value of column 1 is 2 and column 4 is 6. So there is difference of 4. You can say that yes, there is difference. Now, but the difference between mean values of column 2 and 3 is 4, 4 means 0. So in this case, there is no significant difference. So it is also quite easy to know that which of the two groups are showing significant difference and which groups are not showing significant difference. It's quite easy to do it, and this particular calculation is quite useful because simply knowing that ANOVA shows significant difference does not serve the purpose. One has to be aware that which of the two groups are showing significant difference. Okay, so that is why this post hoc test that becomes quite essential, quite important, and presently every paper in which ANOVA is applied, post hoc analysis becomes essential. That becomes essential means they will accept, or you will be able to explain it properly when you have a clear-cut idea that whether the experimental groups are different from the control one or not. Like in this case, you see there is control group and there are treatment groups. So you can say that all the control means treatment groups, they are different from the control. Like control group is, it has its mean value 2, whereas rest of them have mean value 4 and 6. So you can say that there is significant difference from the control. So that is why this post hoc test becomes very important or very essential. Then what I have shown here is exactly the same value here. Control 1, then treatment 1, treatment 2, treatment 3. So 4 columns are there, and in these columns exactly those values which were there, their average values are given. Then SD values which you can calculate by applying this descriptive statistics. There is one option, I will show you how to do that. So through descriptive statistics, standard error, and based on these values construct the you can construct this graph. This graph is actually showing the mean values. Control T1, T2, T3 means based on the mean values or arithmetic mean or their averages. These columns are constructed, the bars are constructed. Then based on standard error, one can show the bar lines which will show actually the level of standard error, and through the stars I have shown the significant level, that is from control T1 and T2 they show significant difference, and that significant difference may be less than 5%. But then control and T3 there may be less than 0.001 or even less than 0.01% difference. So on that very basis, you can show that which of the groups are showing significant difference, which are showing highly significant difference. So your entire data gets depicted in this particular form. Then I'm showing that in the computer programs, there are certain commonly used post hoc tests. I have just showed you manual method of calculating this post hoc analysis. But there are in the computer programs, there are certain tools like Bonferroni test, or Tukey's test, or Newman's QS test, or Dunnett's test, or Fisher's least significant difference test. So these are the statistical tools which are available in SPSS or in social science study. Statistics means that is another one which is different from SPSS. And there are other tools also. Within those tools, most of these are given, and all these tests are actually based on student t-test, because in case of student t-test we want to see the difference between the two means. So these are mainly based on unpaired student t-test principle. Bonferroni test and Tukey's test, these are very highly used tools by biology persons. Anyway, we can apply it. Now I have shown you a particular case, like suppose we want to analyze our data, and the data regarding the diastolic blood pressure of individuals doing different professions. So we have the diastolic blood pressure of teachers, then doctors, judges, and businessmen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 individuals from each group. See here, 8 individuals group been actually considered for this study. 8 teachers, their diastolic blood pressure was measured. That is shown here. Doctors, judges, businessmen, their diastolic blood pressure was measured, and you can put your data in the Excel sheet in this particular manner. Then you want to analyze it. So you will be going to the data, means on the upper side you can see here data is written. So we have to click the data, and when you click it, you will find on the right side in the corner you can see data analysis is appearing. So this data analysis, this particular thing will appear, and you have to click it here. When you will click data analysis, then a box will appear in this Excel sheet, and in this box so many parameters are there, statistical parameters are there, and you can use one-way ANOVA, that is single factor. Single factor means one-way ANOVA. We are going to consider a single aspect, and that aspect is whether there is significant difference in the diastolic blood pressure of the individuals doing different professions. So, and then you will click here single way factor and you will do OK. In the next, you can see that input range that is coming. In input range, we will be selecting, we will select this entire quantitative value. Only quantitative values will have to be selected. So when you will select quantitative values, then all such values will come in the input range. Okay, so we have to simply select and it will automatically come over there. And then you will click the OK button. When you will do that, here you can see all these quantitative values have been selected. And then from corner means left corner to the lower side, all these values have automatically come to the input range. And then you can again click OK button. So you will get this table, exactly the same table which I showed you so far. You can see the all the characteristics, like 4 groups are there, their number of individuals considered, then sum of each group that is given, average diastolic blood pressure is also appearing here. And in the lower side, if you see the ANOVA table about which I just told you, we have to mainly see the F value and the F critical. F value is 9.069 and the F critical value is 2.94. So what we are observing, that the calculated value, that is 9.07, is very high than 2.94, that table value. F critical stands for the table value. This table value one can find by seeing at degree of freedom 3 and 28. At 3 and 28, the value will be 2.94 at 5% level. So we are getting very much difference among the mean values, that's pressure mean values. Okay, so Dr. Singh.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. आवाज आ रही है, sir?
It's going on.
Yes, sir.
It is going on smoothly.
Yes, yes, sir.
Time to time, time to time, I have to verify whether it's going on smoothly or means I'm speaking.
No, sir. Now voice is
It's
much
not
better,
being
sir.
gained.
Much better, sir. Everything we can follow. We can hear clearly, sir. Now, please continue, sir.
Okay, okay then, okay then, okay then, okay then. So now again the same values are there. We have obtained the average diastolic blood pressure of these 4 different kinds of in groups. Their SD values are there, standard error value that is obtained, and based on the average and standard error values, we can construct this bar diagram. So in this bar diagram, you can see the average diastolic blood pressure of teachers, doctors, judges, and businessmen. And the standard error values are showing on the upper side. I have not shown the significant difference, but yes, significant difference will definitely be there between teachers and business group, because post hoc analysis I have not done in this particular case. And that you can do and see that which of the 2 groups are showing significant difference. But we are observing that the average diastolic blood pressure of teachers, that is 0.5, and it is coming 91.12 in case of judges. So there may be significant difference between the average blood pressure of teachers and judges, as well as between teachers and businessmen. But that one can know by doing post hoc analysis. Here that I have not done. Now let us make me aware you people about the use of this Excel program for analyzing all such data. What you will do, you will have to simply open the Excel sheet. And in this sheet, you have to put the data which you have collected. this Excel sheet will be appearing, and then you will go to the data that will be appearing on the upper side. When you will click it on the right side in the upper corner, data analysis, that will be visible. If it is not visible, then you can see that how data analysis can be can be loaded in the computer. Means even that means on internet will provide this information. So this data analysis will appear over there. When you click this, then as I told you, the box sorry, this you have already put these values, and you have actually put the data analysis. You have clicked over there. This box has appeared, and in this box I have put certain values in 3 columns. A, B, C are 3 columns. These are the values. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how descriptive statistics will be done. Descriptive statistics, the average values, the standard deviation values, standard error values, range, skewness, kurtosis, all sorts of information will be available, particularly those informations which are needed for further calculations or further analysis. For that, this descriptive statistics can be done. So if you see the values, what I have shown here, that in the first column, all the 5 variables that are 10, 10, 10 means they are exactly same. Whereas in second column, the values range from 5 to 16. In the third, they range from 2 to 25. So if I go for descriptive statistics and do it, then so all these 3 columns have been selected, and in the input range these values have come. Then when you click it, you got this table. In this table you can see the column 1, column 2, column 3. Mean values are there. Mean value of all the 3 columns, that is 10. 10 is mean for all the 3. But what we observe that standard error and deviation in the first case is 0, because all variables are exactly same. But the variables in column 2 are different from each other. So they are 5 to 16. Although the mean value is exactly same, but other means standard deviation variance, these values are there. It means this data contains variation. So by seeing this, you can see that whether the variables, they are similar in nature or much difference exists in them. For getting the percent level of variation, you can calculate coefficient of variation, CV, that is ESD divided by mean into 100. So level of means consistency in the data could be known. So this will help you, and you can use this descriptive statistics information for constructing the bar diagrams also. Now, for single factor, once again I'm repeating, if you have to do ANOVA single factor, then you will click OK button. You have to put all those values in the Excel sheet. These values are there, like control 1, control, treatment 1, treatment 2, and you are going to analyze it, single factor you will be doing. So here all these values are being selected, and they will automatically come in the input. Then when you will click, this ANOVA table will be appearing. So I have told you enough about it. Now I'm going for the two-way ANOVA, because up till now I was explaining about one-way ANOVA. We are going to learn two-way ANOVA. That is, this two-way ANOVA could be of 2 types. One is without replication, and other one is with replication. So let us see what does this mean. And it is also quite easy to. Here in this case also, you have gone to the data analysis. Now this data analysis shows single factor, that is one-way ANOVA, then 2-factor with replication, then 2-factor without replication. So we are going to learn 2-factor without replication. I've taken a particular case here. First, let us understand that what does this show. Understand here two factors are there. Suppose there is a specific species of insect which you are rearing in your laboratory. We are rearing, actually we are culturing Drosophila flies. So we have suppose done experiments by involving three different types of flies. Wild type flies means those flies which are normal, then those flies which are mutant types, and then hybrids. Hybrids means they have been obtained by making cross between wild and mutant. So three different categories are there, three different columns are there, and those means females, they have laid their eggs. We have actually counted the number of eggs laid by wild type females, mutant females, and hybrid females. Now we have reared those flies at temperature 20 degrees Celsius, at temperature 25 degrees Celsius, and also at temperature 30 degrees Celsius. So what is being shown here, that three different kinds of stocks are there. Then they have been reared in three different varying temperature. We have to see whether produced by females of these three stocks varies significantly, means number of eggs laid by these three different types of stocks are different, significantly different, and whether temperature has its effect, whether 20 degree, 25 degree, 30 degree temperature, that also influence the egg laying, number of eggs laid by the flies. So two parameters we are going to consider. Temperature are shown in rows, whereas the types of flies, they are in columns. We will be going to data analysis. Again, we will go to data. On the upper side, you can see when we will click to data, then data analysis will come. And then when we will click that data analysis, this box will appear. We will click two factor without replication. And then what will be there? All these, numerical values or quantitative values will have to be selected. When you will select it, then the entire quantitative value will come in the input range. Then you have to make OK. When you will click OK, you will get this particular table. And in this table, particularly in the upper table, you can see there are three rows. Rows indicate about temperature. So average number of eggs laid at varying temperature is given. And in column 1, 2, 3 means three different kinds of stocks are there. So the average number of eggs laid by these three different kinds of stocks is also given. So in the lower table, you can see that what we find, the calculated value F critical and F calculated values are here in the table. This F calculated value is 66.5 and the critical value is 6.9. It means there is very high difference among the mean values. You can say rose means the temperature. So temperature that has this effect on the egg laying. Likewise, if you see the columns means wild type, mutant and hybrid. In this case also, you find that there is significant difference because your calculated value is very high than the table value. So there is very significant difference. And yes, wild type, mutant and hybrids, they have significantly late varying number of eggs. So that way you find that both factors influence the egg laying or number of eggs laid means this particular aspect is being affected by both, that is types of stock as well as the means temperature. Then I'm coming to two-way ANOVA. So it's still okay, it's fine, Natalia Singh, everything is fine?
Yes, sir. It's very fine, sir. Very interesting, sir. Please continue.
Okay then. So now it is final phase, two-way ANOVA with replication. So in this case, what I'm going to show you, that suppose you have repeated the experiment. You have done this experiment thrice. So with replication means we have actually done it in different, time, during different period of time, but exactly same parameters were taken, or you have taken average number by doing this experiment three times. So what we did, we actually recorded the number of eggs laid by wild type of females, and that is recorded thrice. So at one point of time they laid 20 eggs, then 122, then 125 eggs, but that happened at the temperature 20 degrees Celsius. Then the number of eggs by mutant when the experiment was conducted thrice. So you have since conducted an experiment several times, you can put those values, and so you are actually replicating, but the number of replicates will have to be exactly same for all the cases. So this thing you have to take care. And here mutant, wild type, hybrids, their number of eggs laid are being shown. Then temperature is 20, 25 and 30. And since we have repeated experiment thrice, so all such data that has come. Now again you have selected the entire, but here you can select even the qualitative aspect, that is wild, mutant, hybrid, temperature. This portion will also be selected. There is no need, means when you will select only the quantitative values, then it will not accept. You will have to select the entire aspect, that is the types which are there in column, and also those qualitative values like temperature which is there in the rows. And you will click here two-factor with replication. So when you will click it, then the entire selected value that will come in the input range, and by clicking OK you can get this big table, and this table shows everything you can have about the information regarding the mutant flies, the hybrids and the wild type, their count, their average number of eggs laid, means all these values will be appearing for rows as well as for column. What has happened? I think it has gone. Hello? अंश चला गया. Hello?
Yes, sir. विजुअल है सर, स्क्रीन विजुअल है, स्लाइड दिख रही है मैं सर.
That one is let me see, something has let me correct from my side. So actually it was the last slide. Let it appear. Okay, so okay, so in this table you can see in the lower side. Now please see the bottom table where ANOVA is written. What we are observing, that the F value that is 127.16, that is very much high than the table value 3.55. So this shows that there is highly significant difference among the different types, that is I'm sorry, different temperature. because the first one sample and then column and then interaction is there. So sample means rows. There are 3 samples. Wild type, I'm sorry, rows means temperature. So for temperature there is significant difference. Among columns also, columns means different types of stocks are there, significant difference is there. And interaction means the temperature as well as the stocks both show in this particular case significant difference for interaction. It means temperature and mutant types are wild types. The stock environmental conditions, they do not show interaction. But we find that yes, significant difference exists for the number of egg legs by eggs laid by the different types of stock as well as the temperature that influences. So you can do it in case of replication also. This is one particular case which I have just put over here. I thought that if you people will wish to do it manually, then at least this will be available to you. But I don't think that there is means people will be ready just to do it in short period of time. So I think that this much information would have been very useful to you people, particularly those who are participating in this program. But one has to learn how to do it manually, and mainly I focus on manual aspect. So